I'm a fan.
Welcome to Tracking the Wolves. I'm Zach Flackus, Associate Athletic Director, filling in for Blake Day. We got him on assignment down in Sioux Falls, South Dakota this week. We'll do a recap of this past week's events. NSU's baseball team played 4 games at home versus Minnesota Crookston. They actually had to go down to Redfield and play those games. Our field wasn't quite ready, but they played Sunday and Monday. The Wolves won the first game on Sunday, winning 9-2, and the second one they won 9-3, having a good offensive outpouring. Came back on Monday and won game 1 8-3, taking game 2 14-3. So on the weekend, the Wolves sweep all 4 games, scoring quite a few runs. Great offensive output for them. The Wolves improved to 14-10 overall and 8-6 in the NSIC. Wolves softball didn't fare quite as well. They had a tough 4-game series against Concordia St. Paul this weekend. On Saturday, they lost a couple of tough-fought ball games. Lost 3-1 the first game and 3-2 in the second game. On Sunday, they came back and they played Minnesota Mankato, perennial powerhouse in NSIC and softball. They lost game 1 4-0 and then came back and lost the final game 11-1. NSU Track and Field sent some athletes down to University of Nebraska Kearney for the Loper Invitational. The Wolves got 5 top 10 finishes at the meet. They sent a limited squad down there. Mackenzie Hageman had a stellar meet for NSU as she set new career bests in both the 100 and 200 meter dashes. And Alexis Webster, again, had a solid finish in the javelin as she took second with a throw of 138 feet 5 inches. That was this week in NSU Athletics. We'll be right back with our interview with NSU head softball coach Kristi Villar.
NCAA championships are something special.
Filled with memories we will carry with us for the rest of our lives.
We ask that you cheer hard for your institutions.
Acting responsibly and courteously towards those around you.
In the spirit of sportsmanship, enjoy the game, and let's provide our student athletes, coaches, officials, and fellow fans the respect they deserve.
Welcome to this portion of Tracking the Wolves. I'm Associate Athletic Director Zach Flackus, and our guest today is NSU head softball coach Kristi Villar. Coach, how are we doing today?
I'm doing well. How about you?
You know what? I got your name correct.
You did, yes.
I called you Villar for so long that Villar, you know, kind of comes out of there smooth.
It has been 4 years now. So
sorry, Coach. That's just
right.
how it works. You know, talking a little bit about the weather, you're probably sick of hearing about the weather, but actually it looks like we're going to have a very nice week, going to really dry some stuff up, get the frost completely removed if it's already not. Have you guys been able to get practicing outdoors?
We've been out to Swisher a couple times. Like I said, we were trying to get outside yesterday, and then it started raining. But today I'm hoping we can practice outside on our field and it's huge. There's just nothing that, we can do whatever we want in a gym, but we get so much done when we can get outside and be in our field. And yes, I am very sick of the weather and very sick of making changes and trying to figure out where you're playing and when we're playing. And I'm hoping now the 10-day looks good, so hopefully it's done with and we'll just get rain and kind of work through that a little bit, but the cold and snow is over with.
You know, the Northern Plains, this is just kind of a life of a baseball or a softball coach, tennis coach, golf, baseball, softball, whatever it is. It just really impacts you. Now, the nice thing about the Barnett Center, and especially with your squad, you've got anywhere from 15 to 20 players on your team. We've got 2 cages now. Were you able to get those off-season things in and get a lot more at-bats than in the past?
Yeah, offense, we can do a lot inside offensively. It works out really well with the batting cages, and you don't spend as much time shagging balls and doing stuff that we have to do outside when we do offense. But yeah, so that's worked out really well. And our pitchers can pitch live. We can have more than one going at once, which gives our kids twice as many at bats. So
Sure.
It has worked out really well. And even the Burnett Center, down below too, we can do a lot in there that other people might not be able to do too. With even our outfielders working some pop flies. Obviously not true pop flies, but at least where they get some of that work in. And our infield, I mean, we could set up basically almost the whole field in there. So it works okay. It works out okay, but it's still just not the same as being outside.
Sure. Well, and you've got such a young team too that getting into that flow of a college softball season, and you're scheduled for 40, 50 games, whatever it is, turns it into a long season. Are you noticing that? I think you've got 8, 9 freshmen on your team. Do they understand the grind of what it takes to play college sports?
It is. It's interesting because everything we do is new for them, and you always have to remember that this is new. They don't know what to expect. They don't know, just simple things as going on the road and things like that, and that our schedule is going to change. So you're going to have to be flexible, and we might not know the day before we're supposed to play when we're going to play or where we're going. Or so I think some of those things are a little overwhelming as a freshman, and you have to keep that in mind. And I think our upperclassmen do a good job of kind of helping them out and making sure they know what's going on and know that it's not a big deal and they can just kind of relax and play. And for the most part, they've done a pretty good job and kind of understand that, this is just the way it's going to work. And,
Sure.
And they get used to it and figure it out, and they're pretty resilient.
I mentioned you've got, I think, 9 freshmen on your team. You've only got 1 senior, couple of juniors on your program. I know Cammie is a junior, your starting pitcher. Where do you look for leadership on your team? What does it really take? Softball's a different sport. Up here, a lot of people are much more affiliated with, slow pitch softball. Fast pitch softball, at the college level especially, it's a grueling sport when you got your third baseman 20 feet away, half the time, and they can say whatever they want, but trying to hit Cammie Smesmal is not easy. So talk a little bit about the grind of the leadership aspect on your program right now.
It is, and leadership is always a huge thing. I think that's, where successful teams are made is they have good leaders, and they understand what it takes and are able to portray that to the younger ones. And yes, we've had a good group of leaders. We have a couple juniors. We have our 1 senior that's been with me for all 4 years, so she kind of gets me and kind of how we do things. And like I said, they've done a good job, and we try to meet regularly and kind of, this is what we need from you to help them out. And I think our teams come together very well. And leaders, like I said, you can always, it's easy to lead when things are going well, but when things, start not going well and, we start making errors or offensively we can't figure it out, that's when it's time to step up and keep things positive and keep things moving in the right direction. And I think we've done a good job with that.
On our conference schedule, it's just like the rest of the teams in our conference. When you look at the Northern Sun, top to bottom, there really are very few weak links. And, this last weekend, I know you played 4 games against Mankato, one of the top teams in our conference, and it showed. They really hit the ball well, they pitch well, they play defense well. What's it going to take to get your program where you want it in our conference, in our league? Yeah,
it is. We, like you said, we're young. It's, one of those things where you just have to keep getting better. And I think our kids understand that. It's a process. Our Northern Sun schedule is very top-heavy. We've played Wayne, Augie, Mankato, which are 3 of the best teams in our league. So we're done with that now. So hopefully we can get our feet back on the ground and kind of keep moving forward. And like I said, I think our upperclassmen understand that, you have to be patient. We have to just focus on getting better and focus on us and not who we're playing or, what else is going on, but what are we doing to get better and try to be playing our best ball at the end of the year and see if we can kind of get things turned around here.
Your record is currently 8-18. Started the year, had some decent wins. You've gone through some streaks. Would you call your team a streaky team, where all of a sudden you kind of get on a roll?
Yeah, I think baseball, softball, it's a streaky sport. Hitting is contagious, and you pitch well. Your defense kind of picks it up. It's kind of all works together, and we've been a little up and down. We have some injuries, and hoping to get some kids back. And like I said, we just got to keep getting better and keep moving forward, and hopefully get out of this little funk we're in.
Your upcoming games, you're going to go up to Minot and then go down to Upper Iowa, down to Fayette. Can you get a further road trip further apart, going from Minot?
I don't know who schedules that, but yeah. So we'll head up to Minot tomorrow, and then make the long road trip this weekend. And it might be good for us to get on the road a little bit and kind of work that out too. So
That change of scenery isn't always
does,
bad.
yeah.
It can bring a team together
Yep.
sometimes.
And you always have a little more pressure at home, and there's more people watching you, and so I think going on the road might be good for us too.
Talking about your starting pitcher, and I know you've got a couple of different pitchers that throw for you, but Cami Smesmo, she's been, I think, your primary pitcher for 3 years. She's a junior this year. Where's she at in her development? Is that a type of player that can take over and lead a team? I know you got a field behind them, but when you get behind a pitcher, it seems like softball really comes down to pitching a lot of the times because so many of the games are so tight. Where you're at in that development of Cami.
Yeah, Cami's done a great job for us, and she's just an awesome kid and works her tail off, and will do anything to help us win, and whatever it takes, she's going to do it. I think we're getting there. I think, like you said, it's defense. We got to have some offense around her too, because she can only bring us so far.
Sure.
But mentally, I think we need to be stronger, tougher, and not just her, the whole team. To be able to bounce back after an error or after a bad call or whatever the case may be, that we need to be able to get over that stuff and come back and not give up too many big innings right now. We need to limit that a little bit, and if they score a run, they score a run, but we can't give up 5.
Yeah. Well, and you've got some bright spots on your team. I know you broke your single season home run record for the school this year, which is nice, and I think she's a freshman,
yes. Right? Yep, and yeah, we've had quite a few kids step up, and there's a lot of, like I said, promising futures on this team where we can. There's a lot of kids that'll do very well for us, and like I said, it's just kind of getting that stuff figured out and mentally becoming tougher. But we have quite a few freshmen that are contributing and will continue to contribute.
Well, and it's also nice that we're webcasting all of our games. I know there were some issues with the first game because we played up at Presentation College and weren't able to get the link set up. But it's nice for those parents to get to be able to see it and see the development of your team. I've got to see you play 4 games, and some games you can hit the ball, some games you pitch really well, some games you defend well. It'd be nice to put it all together and go on one of those streaks that are so famous in the softball and baseball worlds.
Yeah, it would. It's one of those things where, like you said, you just got to keep getting better and keep working hard and to go out there and play and see what happens.
Okay. Coach, I know this week you end up going up to Minot for a couple games up there, and this weekend you go down to Fayette, Iowa. So wish you the best of luck and continued success in the season, and get us some wins.
All right, thank you.
Okay. This has been Zach Flakas and Coach Christy Vilar. Oh, I got it. Almost. Coach Vilar. Thanks. We'll be right back.
We know you want family-friendly sporting events.
Sporting events where you can be comfortable
and entertained in a positive environment. Watching great individuals and teams compete.
With commitment, effort, and good sportsmanship. That's what the Division II Game Environment Initiative is about.
Be a part of the excitement and find out why.
These student athletes say with pride,
I chose
Division II.
Welcome back to Tracking the Wolves. I'm Associate Athletic Director Zach Flakas, and my guests today, Cami Smesmo and Macy Engel. Ladies, appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Ladies softball team,
Yes.
knee deep into it. I know we just got done talking to Coach Villar, and the weather has just been killing you guys, but have you been able to get in the Barnett Center, get in some workouts, and hopefully a little bit outside the last couple of weeks?
We've gotten outside more than last year actually already, which anytime you can get outside is a plus for softball, get a feel for the dirt, and get to work as a team a little bit more and figure out situations.
Yeah.
Playing first base, a little different indoors than outdoors. I mean, with the ball's coming at you, bouncing off the floor, background behind it. You haven't taken one off the noggin lately or anything, have you?
Thankfully, no.
Okay, good.
I would like to keep it that way, but yeah, it's just getting those reps in. It translates onto the field and into the game. So.
And I've seen the mats you end up pitching off of. How realistic is that compared to
I mean, it's different. Obviously, when you're in the dirt, you get a whole hole from your drag. So then when you're on the turf, you don't have that. So, I mean, it's not bad. You get used to it.
Do you prefer one over the other, or do you like the natural dirt?
I kind of like the turf, to be honest. It never changes. It's always the same, which is kind of nice.
Now, here in Aberdeen, your home games so far, you've played a couple out at Presentation College on the turf, and then you've played out at Swisher Field on the turf. On the road, I'm assuming down south you got to play on some dirt and some of your other games so far.
Yeah.
When it comes to games, as far as balls coming off the turf, especially on the infield, faster, slower, is it realistic compared to grass, or how's playing on turf for you?
The second hop for grounders kind of picks up a little speed, but it's nice because, like Cammie said, it stays the same. You don't get those holes from when runners are in the infield, and
Sure.
you don't have to worry about hops as much, which is nice. It's a little bit more consistent. But.
Well, and of course I like the old, grass and mounds and dirt base paths. But it is nice because it's consistently, especially this time of year when you never know when you're gonna, when the frost comes up and what hole you'll have out there and anything like that. Let's talk a little bit about the season. You guys have a very young team. I know you two are actually, as a sophomore and a junior, some of the leaders, some of the upperclassmen on the team. 8, 9 freshmen that we have is that on the team?
Yep.
What's it like playing with so many young gals? Is there a lot more coaching they have to do off the field?
I think that they've adjusted well, but I think it's getting them in the routine of not only like games, but what practice is like and what traveling is like, and just getting them used to that. But I think they've adjusted pretty well.
It's a grueling season. I mean, you guys play 40, 50 games. You're going down south. I know this week you go up to Minot, and then on the weekend you go down to Fayette, Iowa, so you're extremes. You talk about the freshmen. Boy, as upperclassmen, Cam, you've done this for 3 years now.
Yeah.
You enjoying those road trips still?
Yeah, I think you make memories. It's where it's the fun time, staying in hotels, kind of just having fun. It's just life.
What about you, Macy? Enjoy the road trips, do you?
I like them a lot. Like Cammie said, staying in the hotels with your teammate is great. It's kind of like having a sorority on the road, and
you get to know them other than just on the field.
Yeah.
Any good stories of your coaching staff of forgetting you guys at a hotel or anything, or?
I don't think that's happened yet.
Not that we know of, at least.
Yeah. Okay,
they cover it up well, I guess.
Maybe that we should share.
You guys have played already 26 games on the year. Got down south for a little bit, down to Florida. Tell about that experience a little bit. You guys have both done this before, getting to go down south for a trip, but long trip again, but you get to spend a week, 10 days down in Florida. What's that like playing softball down there compared to up here?
Well, you have to wear sunscreen, unlike up here, so that's a good tip. Our coach always says that those are the most guaranteed games that we will have all season, and I mean, it is true. We actually got a couple games rained out this year, but that's nothing like the weather up here. So it's nice just to get out on the dirt, see some live pitching before getting into season and getting into conference. You
end up playing teams from all over the United States when you're down there. Some of these teams have gotten in a lot more softball than we have because they are in those southern climates. Could you tell a different competitive level? I mean, were there certain teams from the south that you could say, wow, I can tell they've been outside for a month already?
I think you could tell. I think maybe we could tell because she had said, they've got some games under their belt, because it's nicer down here. But I think that they just show a more, like they're ready. Like maybe being on the dirt our first time in Florida, it was kind of like, oh, get a feel for this, whereas they were like just ready to go. But that's why we play them, to get our games under our belt and be ready for the season.
Absolutely.
So it's a good.
As you guys look at your season, you've only got one senior in the program. Are you guys into the recruiting process? Do you end up helping the coaching staff recruiting? One of you from Nebraska, one of you from Minnesota. Are there softball players from back around your home areas that you can recruit and get to Northern, or what's the competitive softball like in Papillion and around St. Peter?
I think we know a lot of the girls from, where we're from, and we can say, take a look at this girl, or even tell them to maybe contact our coaches. But our coaches are very, very involved in the recruiting process. They know what they're doing at this point, and they have a vision for our program, and they're recruiting kids who are going to help us in the future. So.
What about around St. Peter?
Well, I actually played more travel ball from the cities, so I didn't really play with my area down besides high school ball. But I think that it's nice when we get to meet with the recruits and know who's coming in and know where they're from and what they do, and then be able to build that before they even get here. I know we both talked to a couple of recruits that, you know, we're getting to know before they come into the season in the fall.
You know, let's talk a little bit about your careers and looking at Northern, what you're going to do post degrees. Cam, you're a junior. What's your major?
Human performance and fitness with an emphasis on older adult activity.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what will your summer plans be? I'm assuming you'll have some internships and different things to get done?
Yep, I'm going to work with Bruns at Curves this summer for my practicum, and then I'll have to have another field experience, but that's not really planned yet.
Will you be able to get out of school in 4 years
Yep.
at Northern?
Yep,
Okay.
I plan on graduating this spring, and then I'm thinking the nursing program.
Okay.
That's kind of where I'm going.
Very good.
Yeah.
And for you?
I'm a biology major with a psychology minor. I kind of want to get into physical therapy graduate school after Northern here. So.
And I've gotten to know some of those biology professors and some of the more dedicated professors we got. I know John Mitchell and Kiso. Kiso was at the game the other day. She had her 2 kids playing in the sandbox. You know, they're in the long jump pit, which they kept calling the sandbox. But what's your experience been like so far? What are your plans after school and after graduate school?
Well, in the biology field, these teachers are so helpful. They're willing to work with us, especially as athletes. Just making sure that we do still know the information and are ready for tests, quizzes, whatever. And yeah, they ask frequently when our games are. We'll see them at a lot of the home games. It's really nice to have them there and be a part of the Northern team.
I know Dr. Kiesel said there must be a front row of softball players that sits in one of her lectures, and she was commenting. She said, you know, I see them in class. They're definitely going to see me here at the game. So it was nice to get to talk to her and talk about, you know, the emphasis you guys put on education. And I know the softball team has a very good GPA and by and large, very good academic-oriented program. So let's talk a little bit about, before we go, just going up to Minot this week and then down to Upper Iowa. Got 4 games coming up this week. What's the scouting report on Minot?
We know that they have a new pitcher this year, new to the conference, so it'll be interesting to see how our bats can do against them, pitching-wise.
Yeah. I think they're, I mean, you always look at stats and you see this team beat this team and this team beat, you know, and it's kind of all over the place, but I think it just comes down to us coming up and, you know, showing up and playing our game and we can compete.
You know, as a pitcher, is it nice when you can get a run on the offensive end early in the game? And do you pitch different when you're up 1-0 as opposed to?
Coach always says, you know, pitch with the lead, pitch with the lead. So when you do get a lead, it is kind of, you have some relief, but then again, you got to, you know, keep fighting and keep that 0 up on the board. And
well, we saw that in that Concordia series that you guys had. You got late in the games where it's 0-0, 1-0, and it's just so tough. And then it seems like it's just one play one way or the other, or you know, one strike call one way or the other, where if you're not getting that pitch or he's giving you something. So, and then you guys will take that long trip down to Fayette, Iowa this weekend. What's the scouting report on Fayette? Or on Upper Iowa, I should call them, not Fayette. But.
You know, they've shown some good games this year, competed against a lot of people. Our coach says, you know, the game doesn't know who's supposed to win, so we're hoping to go up there and really put up a couple of strong games, both offensively and defensively. And I think there'll be a couple really good games.
String something together.
Very good. And that is, I talked to Coach Villar earlier about the streakiness of softball, and especially with so many tight games. And boy, when you get on a roll, it's fun to get on a roll and score some early runs, and then help your pitcher out a little bit. So,
absolutely.
Ladies, with that, I appreciate your time. We're going to let you get back to class and practice and everything else.
Thank you.
This has been Zach Flackus with NSU softball players Cami Smesmo and Macy Engler. We'll be right back.
NCAA championships are something special.
Filled with memories we will carry with us for the rest of our lives.
We ask that you cheer hard for your institutions.
Acting responsibly and courteously towards those around you.
In
the spirit of sportsmanship, enjoy the game, and let's provide our student athletes, coaches, officials, and fellow fans the respect they deserve.
Welcome back to Tracking the Wolves. I want to thank our guests today, NSU head softball coach Christy Villar and NSU softball players Cami Smesmo and Macy Engel. NSIC honors this week for our program. Northern Sun Intercollegiate Conference announced Monday morning that Mackenzie Hagman was named the Women's Track and Field Athlete of the Week for her efforts over the weekend. Hagman had a stellar meet for the Wolves at the UNK Loper Invite as she set new career bests in the 100 and 200 meter dashes. Hagman ran a 12.15 in both the prelims and finals of the 100 to finish second in the event. This is also the second fastest time in the NSIC this season. Congratulations, Mackenzie. Upcoming events, this week the NSU softball team will go up to Minot as we've been discussing. They're up there Wednesday, April 9th to play a doubleheader starting at 2 p.m. Then they head down to Upper Iowa for the weekend on April 12th. The NSU baseball team will play Presentation College on Wednesday, April 9th at 5 p.m. at Fossum Field. That is, of course, as long as the field is ready to play. I know that the NSU baseball team, presentation team, Hardball Association, the city have been working hard out there. They made a lot of changes out to the field this year, so if you get an opportunity and the game's played on Wednesday night, head on out to the field for some ball games. The baseball team will also then host Upper Iowa on Thursday, April 10th. They'll play a doubleheader starting at 1 o'clock at Fossum Field. The NSU track team will compete in the Sioux City Relays this weekend, Friday and Saturday, April 11th and 12th. Tremendous track meet down there. Great opportunity for athletes to get a little warmer weather, get a little further south to run some events outdoors. The baseball team will then again host Minot State for a doubleheader on Wednesday, April 16th, with Game 1 starting at 1 o'clock. All these are, of course, weather permitting. The baseball team will then host Minnesota State Mankato over the Easter weekend. They play games on April 18th and 19th, starting at 1 p.m. both days. The NSU softball team is going to host University of Mary April 15th with the doubleheader starting at 2 p.m. That'll be at the Moxon Creek Softball Complex. For up-to-date information, schedules, results, rainouts, anything you need, including night gear from the Northern State team store, go to our website at northernstatewolves.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at #WolvesAthletics. Thanks again for watching Tracking the Wolves. Go Wolves!